Anyway, all right, back to our top 5.
All right, the top 5 this week is, of course, the upcoming things that we're most excited about from Disney. Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, with not being able to see the original one first, the curiosity is key, right? So my number 5 goes to Snow White. I'm excited to go along on this journey, especially if you guys remember a couple years ago when there was a lot of backlash against racial injustice, and specifically with a lot of older Disney films, painting people in a different light. That Snow White was one of those films. So it'll be interesting to see what they did in the live action film to, manipulate that a little bit and turn the tide. So I'm curious to see that, but I still want to go back and watch the first one, or the original one first. So yeah, number 5 for me is Snow White. I'm excited just to be along on this journey.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the dwarfs in the original one, they are certainly representations of real life personalities. And
exactly.
Not all good.
Yeah.
So how did they change that up? That's going to be interesting to see. Or did they? But, everybody seems to forget, too, that all these Disney movies, all these animated classics, they're all stem from the Grimm brother fairy tales, which were dark, twisted shit. So Disney, They were Disneyfied, but the origin stories, the content is from dark shit. So, I mean, every now and then it just makes sense that there's some dark shit still in there, like these dwarfs.
Exactly.
I mean, anyway, my number 5, we don't have a whole lot to say about it because we don't know a whole lot about it. We just know it's happening. So, but I will say I have it on mine because I'm super excited about it. I've really enjoyed the first 2. I think they're great adult films as well as kid films, and I'm excited to see where the story is going. And I'm talking about Frozen 3. Like you, I'm excited to be on the journey, and I'm ready to build another fucking snowman. Let's do it. Like, my number 5, Frozen 3.
I mean, they definitely have freaking some of the best soundtracks from Disney films.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So I'm excited to see what the third installment will bring as far as music. That's awesome. Well, number 4 for both of us, one that we didn't talk about.
Which, how did we not talk about?
Because, I mean, there's still not a lot out right now about the plot or anything. The Mandalorian and Grogu film that will be coming out.
Yes.
I'm super excited about it because obviously Star Wars is life, and it's coming out on my birthday, so gonna have to get a big group of people to go see that on my birthday. I think that'll be a whole bunch of fun. But I mean, it not only is Pedro Pascal killing it on The Last of Us, about to kill it in Fantastic Four, he is also the Mandalorian. This guy might be the busiest guy in Hollywood.
Oh, without doubt.
Let's be honest about it. When it comes to franchises, this dude's everywhere. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how much mask off or helmet off we will get in this film, because I'm betting a lot of it will be just him doing some ADR work and everybody else just filling in his shoes.
And it kind of has to be, because the whole last season of the show was the emphasis of, I'm never taking it off again. I fucked up. I'm sorry. He had to earn the right back into to be a Mandalorian, and he basically said, I'm never fucking taking this thing off again. So yeah, I would assume it's going to be a lot of ADR work. Because if he takes it off, he fucking blows the whole thing. I am excited about this one, though. They did, and you're right, they released a whole trailer for it, and you still kind of don't know what it's about. Other than Grogu is now his official, apprentice. He is teaching him to be a bounty hunter, basically. And so that's interesting, because he set aside being a Jedi, and he's going to be a bounty hunter. But he's also kind of a Jedi. And so it's... And will we finally learn, is there not a connection with him and Yoda? They're clearly the same species. They have to be. Yeah. So where is is he tied to that lineage, or is he just another guy from the planet? Or because we still don't know a whole lot about Yoda. Through all the history of Star Wars, we really still don't know a whole lot about his race, his planet, all that kind of stuff. Maybe in the books, but I've never read the books. But just from a movie standpoint, we don't know much about him. So will we learn more about Yoda through Grogu, which would be really interesting.
It would be.
And here's the biggie, will we hear Grogu talk?
right?
He's older now. He's got to be older, right? They're implying, at least in the trailer, that they've been training for a while and that they've been on this thing now. It's been a little bit since the show. So will we see him talk? And will he talk in weird, short, backward sentences like Yoda? Is that like a race thing? Or was just a Yoda thing? Like, we need to know these questions, the answers to these questions. So I am excited about this. And plus, we know this takes place in the Skywalker era. So will we continue to see more of that story play within this story also? And Ahsoka. So, that too. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. All right, yeah. Number 4 for both of us.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, number 3 for both of us as well is Captain America: Brave New World. Of course, everybody knows we're huge Marvel fans, and we just talked a whole bunch about it. But I mean, I'm just really excited for Sam to get his own film because he can carry a freaking story.
Fuck
man.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, Anthony Mackie is such a talented actor, so for him to finally get his own film, and like I love how I've been seeing all over TikTok at least the freaking Tom Holland versus Anthony Mackie like getting his own movie.
Yeah. That's been a running gag between the two of them. Yeah.
I really hope Bucky is involved at least because of the dynamic they built in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I should say. That dynamic, it's so special and it's so tight now. I mean, they really became really good friends through that series. So I'm hoping that we see a little bit more of that in the film. I'm pumped.
I would assume we do because, like I said, we know Bucky / Winter Soldier, he's in Thunderbolts. And this movie is setting up Thunderbolts. So I'm assuming at some point we're going to see Bucky and Sam together again, right? Like they kind of have to be. And it is because, right, like do we just sideline Bucky now because we've got the new Falcon? Because that relationship, Sam is clearly, with that relationship.
Working that
and so do we just kind of see him, that's the new sidekick? Because as we know in the comic books, really, Falcon is always the sidekick kind of to Cap. So the new Falcon will be his sidekick if he's Cap. But yeah, I'm with you. They're best friends, and that relationship was important. And I can't imagine that with the storytelling, they're just going to step away from that. That just seems like that's a no-brainer. Number two. Yeah, what you got for number 2?
Goodness. Well, I got the live-action Lilo and Stitch.
There you go.
I think, like I said, that one is it's near and dear to my heart because I remember watching it for the very first time in theaters, and I just feel like it's going to be so good. Everybody loves the Hawaiian culture as well. So I feel like, it's going to be very laid back, very mellow. And, I mean, the aliens. There's going to be so much alien stuff. And I'm super curious to see how that CGI is going to work. Because, I mean, if you guys remember, there's these big Thanos mofos looking, like, coming out of the sky.
Yeah.
So I'm super pumped to see just all the effects and how different it's going to be and how similar it's going to be. Because, like I said, it's such a cult classic in my generation. So, yeah, Lilo and Stitch, the live action, number 2 for me.
Fantastic. My number 2 is Incredibles 3. And like I said, I'm a huge superhero geek, have been since birth. And it's a great superhero story, but it's also a great family story. It's basically the Fantastic Four, but not the Fantastic Four, right? It's like a family of superheroes that are like, but my emphasis and why I'm so excited about it, and I hope that I'm right, because again, we don't know anything about it yet, but we've seen the story of Bob and the Missus, right? We saw their early relationship, then we saw them as parents, and we saw their relationship grow and where it was in the second film. So we know them, right? I think it's time to pass it off. I think they need to kind of be secondary in this third one, in my opinion. Just be in the role of, and I think I want to see Incredibles 3 focus on the kids. Because I think they're older now. They should be older now, and they should be at the point where they're the focal point of the movie. And if it goes that route, I think it's going to be fucking epic. And if it doesn't go that route, I'm curious to see how they continue to progress the story with Bob, because like we've just seen them. We know everything about them. We know how they got together. We know the struggle they had. We know how they deal with the parenting and how they roped the kids into the superheroing. We know all that. So It's time for the kids. My number two,
Exactly. I mean,
Incredibles 3, right? Like it's time to move the
first
story.
one was all about the guy, and the second one was all about the girl.
Exactly, and we know them. It's time for the kids. Let's see Violet and Dash and their lives play out, because you could do the similar thing, right? Make this one about Violet. She's a bit older. Make the fourth one about Dash, and you could literally do what you did with the parents, but with the kids. And
exactly,
so, it just seems to be the way to go. But
this is the way.
This exactly. We don't work for Disney or Pixar, but if we were doing it, this is how we would go. I'm just saying.
Very sure. Well, number one for me goes to Mufasa. If you couldn't tell, by the way, I was talking about it at the very top of the show. It's Lion King. I feel like it's special to all of our hearts. That's for sure.
It is.
And it's probably the best Disney film of all time. Strictly Disney, I'm saying. And I just feel like, what they're going to be able to tell in this prequel, I think, is going to make it very interesting to see how we approach Scar and how we approach Scar leading into watching The Lion King again, because you're really going to sympathize with him. And I think you may be able to tell like where Scar went wrong. So yeah, I'm very curious and I'm very excited too, because the technology, even from the first Lion King live action to this one, you can already tell it looks different because the technology keeps evolving. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, my number one, Mufasa.
It's so funny. So in Mufasa, they're going to be doing that inner child work. They're going to go back and where did they go wrong? Where in the childhood did they fuck up? They got to go back and heal and fix that shit.
Exactly.
And we're going to find out why. That's so funny, bro, because that really is the emphasis of the story. They're going back to the childhood and trying to figure out where it all went off track for Scar. So very interesting. Very interesting. My number one, I've said it all at the top of the show. I cannot be more excited for this. I am all in. I hope they continue this for many, many, many years until they're too old to be doing it and we have to CGI their old asses. Daredevil Born Again. He, in my opinion, on the TV side, was the RDJ of the MCU on the TV side. He could not have been a more perfect choice to be cast in the role of Matt Murdock / Daredevil. It was brilliant casting. Vincent D'Onofrio was brilliant casting as Kingpin. Karen with Deborah Ann Woll and Foggy with Eldon. They're all fucking Bernthal as... and please bring back Elektra. Please bring back Elektra. She's so good too. Anyway, I'm just really excited because this is probably... And let's be honest about it. The MCU is really good at it. But in my opinion, this is probably the most comic book accurate, pull straight from the pages into reality that they've done. This is like reading a Daredevil comic book and straight from the page in. It's so spot on. And then yet somehow fits so real world. It's so grounded in reality that it works. And so, I'm really, really excited about it. And I'm glad that they figured the whole mess out with Netflix about getting the rights back. Because that would have sucked if we could have never continued these stories. Because that would have really sucked. Now if they could just figure out how to fucking jack Spider-Man back from Sony.
That's it.
They got Hulk back finally, right? Hulk they got the rights to Hulk again. Now they're talking about a solo Hulk movie and shit. It's just Spidey. Come on, Sony. Come on. It's just, what if we work out a deal and you just keep the villains and we just get Spidey back? Come on.
Right.
Just fucking give us Spidey back, god damn it. Anyway, my number one, Daredevil Born Again, because who doesn't want to see Spider-Man in that? Street level, them go, oh my god. There's so much potential for this series with other street level Marvel characters. That this story could go in so many different directions for so long because Daredevil has played an integral role in so many different Marvel characters. So, a lot of people don't realize, but he has interacted with just so many of them. They just briefly touch on it with She-Hulk but yeah, he's been all over the place with Marvel characters. So the potential there is just huge. So, of course, I'm excited about it. Of course I am.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, we want to know, what is your most anticipated project coming out of Disney? Please be sure to comment below in the comment section or at us on Threads or X or all the good places. So
Yes.
many good things, man.
So many.
Good things.